welcome back to Castle Goring, chatting with Lady C. Lady C, what are the possibilities that you foresee for Archie's future? I am also puzzled why Meghan and Harry did not request titles for Archie, especially since Meghan is so insistent on maintaining her title. That lend credence to the case for Archie not being qualified to receive a title. What are your thoughts?
Well, all of this is covered very carefully in my book. I don't want to go into too much detail now because it's much easier to have a slip of the tongue than a slip of the pen. And also, when you write something, it is what they call lawyered. So everything is gone over with a fine-tooth comb and legaled as well. They call it legaled as well. But I would say the question is a very, very incisive question and goes to the heart of the matter. And I cover it very carefully. I lay out all the facts in my book. You know, I do not actually need to give my opinion one way or the other on anything. And in my books, I try to avoid not giving my opinion because I'm not an opinion maker. If you're a proper biographer, you are distilling the facts, conveying the facts, and letting the facts speak for themselves. There is even a legal term for it, res ipsa loquitur. The thing speaks for itself. You do not need to say that the thing is X or Y descriptively. The thing will speak for itself. Just show what the thing is, show what the conduct is, show what the customs are, show what the consequences are, show what the choices are, and things speak for themselves. But I will go back to what I said before. All these doubts, anomalies, controversies, questions are completely unacceptable and should be addressed for the welfare of that child. Otherwise, that child is growing up with a huge bugbear on its back. And I think that is very unfair. Of course, I see that more than that I do not want to say, but I think everybody knows me well enough to know that if I hold my tongue, it's for a very good reason. Silence is often golden. Just let the facts speak for themselves. And beyond that, let's see what the next question is before everybody drops me into the big pond where I'm going to be absolutely poisoned.
So the next question is, what do you think of Omid Scabies lying about his age? Why does everyone in Meghan Markle's circle feel the need to create meaningless lies? What is the point of lying about the facts that no one cares about either way?
Well, I actually have absolutely no idea what age Omid Scabies is. It is a matter of complete indifference to me whether he is 14, 40, or 444. I have been informed that he is 39, claiming to be 31. Whether that is true or not, I neither know nor care to know. It's a matter of complete indifference to me. What would be more material is if he is lying about his age. Maybe he's doing it because he has personal reasons. Maybe he is a member of a club that doesn't like people over a certain age. I mean, I'm not going to condemn somebody for an exercise in vanity. I never lie about my age, but then I couldn't have the luxury ever of lying about my age because I'm in reference books. But even if I had the luxury of lying about my age, I wouldn't take it. If anything, as my grandmother used to say, don't ever say you're younger than you are. If you must say anything, say you're older, then everyone will think, my goodness, don't you look fantastic?
Yes.
So, but but in terms of the general tone of that whole camp, there are some people who the truth is whatever they say. I've met many people like that. I was married to somebody like that. I had a mother who was like that. It usually goes along with people who are either disturbed or intrinsically dishonest or somehow pushing an agenda where the lie is preferable to the truth, uh, and it is in their interest to lie. Now, I don't want to be too doctrinaire and rigid and say that somebody who tells a little white lie is ultimately dishonest, because, I mean, some people do tell little lies. I think it shows a marked lack of intelligence and imagination, and certainly lack of linguistic skills, because it has been my experience that if you engage your brain, connect your brain to your tongue, link it up to a good vocabulary, you can actually speak the truth in such a way that people think you haven't said what you've said. But water seeks its own level. And I think if the subject of a book is playing with the truth, the purveyor of that story is also going to be obliged to play with the truth. That's why Diana Wales and I fell out, because I was not prepared to play with the truth for her convenience. But as everybody knows, amid Scabies and Cowering Durrant have played with the truth with not only alacrity but impertinence, because they have said on the one hand, oh, Catherine Cambridge was absolutely wonderful to Meghan. Then, on the other hand, Catherine Cambridge was cold and heartless and beastly to poor dear Megsy baby. Well, I'm afraid people have to link up their past with their present and into their future. I think I'll wrap this up by saying it in one word. It's called integrity. You either have integrity or you lack integrity. Integrity is like virginity. You don't sacrifice it and retain it. It's as simple as that. Next question,
Right.
please.
Okay. As an add on the even Hitler considering Iranians an Aryan race, Rudolf Hess's mother was an Egyptian, originally from a wealthy Greek banking family that settled in the Ottoman Empire. Several generations had been in Egypt. Hess was born in Alexandria. Obviously, Hess passed the Nazi standards for ultimate inclusion.
That's really a comment, not a question, but it addresses the issue of honesty, integrity, and the way that funding freedom and finding freebies plays with the truth and plays with facts to distort the realities. Because, of course, Scabies is not biracial, but he had to create, or he felt he had to create the link with Megsy Baby. And it's pathetic. It's just pathetic. But it shows why their book has come in for the condemnation that it has in this country. It will be interesting to see what Americans think of the book, because, of course, first of all, I gather that people in America generally care far less about Megsy Baby and Harry Boo Boo than people in England do, which is perfectly natural because it's our royal family and not theirs. But, well, I don't think I want to say more than that on the subject, really. It's just, I think it's unnecessary that just as how Meghan has to insert herself into every narrative and create a link where really there's no link at all, or if there's a link, it's the most tenuous link possible, that Scabies now feels the need to do the same thing. It also explains why he has had no difficulty whatsoever in playing Mercury to the goddess of fiction, and why he has been happy to be the ace propagandist that he is.
So we have a comment from the Kim Lloyd George.
And do you know who Kim Lloyd George is?
No.
Her ex-husband is a descendant of David Lloyd George, who became Earl Lloyd George. And we have run across each other socially in years gone by. So that's who she is.
Okay, good. I'm in Miami with friends from Los Angeles, New York, and Texas. Nobody ever mentions them ever, despite fact that newsagent grocery store shelves are peppered with tabloid stories on front pages. This is a massive PR failure on the part of Sunshine Sachs, and nothing can push them successfully, my opinion.
Well, Kim knows her onions, and Kim is also a member of the Okay, come on, Mickey. Come on. Oh, Mickey's come to join us. Oh, dear. Yes, hi, Mix. Okay. And Kim's also a member of the aristocracy, so she will know what's what and how royalty is supposed to behave. And I find it intriguing that she is verifying what several people have privately told me otherwise, on both sides of the Atlantic, that Meghan and Harry are embarked on a massive PR exercise to try to turn themselves into these world stars, where they are going to be the king and queen of worlddom, or something equally vague, or maybe the king and queen of humanitarianism, or whatever. And nobody in America cares except for a few people. She was never a star. She was never regarded as a star. Americans had never heard of her. They cared about her when they took pride in the fact that one of their own had married into the British royal family, because this was the second American Duchess, and the first being Wallis Simpson, who I have to tell you was a completely different kettle of fish to this one. And of course, Americans have also taken great pride in Princess Grace of Monaco, justifiably took great pride in her. I only met her 2 or 3 times, but she was a wonderful woman, absolutely wonderful, completely decent, beautiful, very gracious, very charming, very regal in the correct way of being regal, not pretentiously regal, and not full of a whole load of nonsense. And so I think Americans have wanted to embrace Meghan. I think the tabloids, my understanding is that the American magazines and tabloids have tried to build Harry and herself up into something significant, more significant than they really are. But it's an uphill struggle because what they really had going for them was their connection to royalty and the complete disinterest that royalty has in commerce and in self-aggrandizement. Because although Americans are very happy to respect people who have accomplished something financially and commercially, I think that they understand the distinction between people who are not engaged in the marketplace, and you can therefore look up to them and say, these people have clean hands. Well, Meghan and Harry have made sure that that's one of the many pillars that they have knocked out from under their feet, so that they are lacking support in various areas like this. And I suppose in life, if you earn it, who am I to deprive you of your just deserts, you know? But I think of what I've heard, that Kim is definitely onto something and reflecting the fact that in America, they're just not that interested, and this is going to impact adversely upon their ability to make a whole load of money. I think this has got to be the last question.
Yes.
At least for the moment.
Yes. So, imagine for 5 minutes Meghan Markle was a plan to undermine or even try to bring down the royal family, for which she will be paid handsomely. Murdoch?
Oh, wonderful question. Wonderful question. Yes. Well, I'm not a great conspiracy theorist. I do not believe in conspiracy, but I certainly do believe that Murdoch is in the background manipulating the situation to his advantage, not only politically, but also financially. I do not think that he actually planted Meghan. I think Meghan planted herself, and I think that Meghan is sufficiently self-centered and irresponsible and egotistical and deluded and opportunistic and ambitious to actually not care that her actions in furthering her ambitions to make a great deal of money and turn herself into the hugest star on earth will detrimentally affect the royal family. I think we need to look to Meghan's character and Meghan's objectives for the driving force behind this debacle. I think we also need to bear in mind that Harry has gone along with it, and he also bears some responsibility for the damage that has been done to the overall institution of monarchy. I also think, though, that the monarchy is strong enough that it will survive them being snipped off like rotten branches off a tree. And the real difficulty arises if their marriage doesn't break up, because if their marriage doesn't break up, what is going to happen? because it's going to be much more difficult for them to repatriate to England after all of these antics. And they have completely exposed themselves for being the people that they are. And I don't know. It's I think Murdoch and the Republican, and I think I need to make the point to our American viewers that when I speak about Republicans in England, I'm not speaking about the Republican Party. I'm speaking about the Republican system of government as opposed to the monarchic system of government. In England, Republicans are people who want to bring down the monarchy, and it's got nothing to do with the Republican Party in America. So, yeah, I think that Meghan and Harry have been irresponsible enough, and some people would say treacherous enough, to have given succor to the enemies of the institution of monarchy. And on that note, I will say thank you very much for your questions. Keep them coming in, and we will see what happens afterwards. Now, we have one announcement to make, which is, Leo, you want to make it?
Yes. So I want to thank everyone for watching us, and thank you for being such a nice person and keep me for so long with you. But I think now it comes time when I need to move on and continue with my career and projects. So I'm going to London, and for sometimes you will probably do this show without me.
Well,
But
maybe you can come back, and
Yes.
you can be an occasional visitor,
Yes.
and maybe even a frequent visitor.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, of course. If everything, the time and my duties will allow, of course.
Yes,
Of course, yes.
And we wish you well, Leo. I'm sure
thank you very
everybody
much.
wishes you well.
No, thank you very much for surviving so long time with me.
It's been by and large my pleasure.
Yes,
by
thank
and
you.
large my
Thank you.
pleasure, really, honestly.
And thanks everyone for following us, and yes, I
And-
hope there will not be too much said.
Oh,
So your show will continue even after I leave, which will be in slightly different version, of course, because I will not be here. And I hope everything goes well. And I hope that our viewers will still continue watching even if I'm not here.
well, I'm sure some of your admirers will miss you very greatly, Leo.
Yes, well,
You know, and I will miss you too.
yes.
But I wish you well.
Thank
After all, Leo's young and he has to make his fortune. Gosh, maybe you should go to LA.
Well,
Funding freedom.
at least for the weather,
Oh.
nothing else.
Or funding money.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, my
You're
love.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
God
Okay,
bless.
thank you. Goodbye.